Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Charlene Reeves, and you are watching the Heart-Based Business Show. Today, we are going to talk about massive visibility for massive income. And I bet you're wondering, how the heck do you do that? I've always wondered how to do that. I'm going to show you today how to play a much bigger game because we think so small, and that's why our businesses are small too. We need to think bigger and go for massive visibility so we can make massive income. Hold on just a minute and I'll be right back with you. And welcome back to the Heart-Based Business Show. I always love doing this on a Wednesday because when I get to be alone, I get to share with you some really great, juicy information. And today we are going to talk about massive visibility. And it's so important. A lot of people don't even realize the importance of massive visibility, because if you want to become a visible go-to guest expert, you need to appear as a credible, believable leader who speaks with good purpose, who has a meaning when they speak. They don't just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I was with somebody last night who makes a tremendous amount of money, and I can't figure out how he does it because he's just like that. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and he doesn't even let you get a word in. So a leader always speaks with good purpose. That's the first thing I want to tell you about. And today, that's exactly what I'm going to do, is share with you some great information with good purpose. Now, when you speak this way, you allow others to feel confident and comfortable around you, and they start following you because you do exude that confidence and you give them that comfort. And it's important that you be a really good listener who's connected to intuitive guidance and, at the very least, appears to be grounded and calm under pressure. That's the big thing. That's where they really see it. Emotional control and fear become the biggest challenges when stepping onto stages, in the lights, on TV set, or being interviewed on radio. You must never forget that others are watching and listening to how skillfully you deliver the information you provide. Has anybody ever come up to you after you've given a speech or provided something on radio or anything where they said, you delivered some great information? Well, if they did, you're probably a pretty good leader already. And you know, there are very few leaders in our society. Most of the people are just followers looking for a leader that resonates with them, because they're looking at your processes and your values and going, well, maybe I can connect with this person, or maybe I can't. There's so many to connect with that you actually have to come from a heart in order to resonate with them. And mastering the skills of leadership is highly valued because so few have accomplished the identifiable traits that you need to step into the light. I'm going to give you some interesting statistics for a minute about women, because I love to work with women, especially ones that have come out of the work world and they're in their second time of life. But wait till you hear these statistics. I'm actually going to read them to you because I can't remember them all. But according to the Center of American Progress, women make up the majority of the U.S. population. I didn't even know that. They earn approximately 60% of undergraduate degrees, 60% of all master's degrees, and 44% of master's degrees in business and management. Get that, 44%. And although they hold almost 52% of all professional level jobs, American women lag substantially behind men when it comes to their representation in leadership positions. Well, they're about 45% of the overall S&P 500 labor force and 37% of first or mid-level officials and managers in those companies. There are only 25% of executives and senior level officials and managers. And they hold only 19% of board seats and are only 4.6% of CEOs. Now, I was a CEO, so maybe I get to be in that 4.6%. So after listening to that, it might surprise you to know that without women in the workplace, we couldn't have won World War II. Can you believe that? That's what they say. And women have always been an integral part of the U.S. economic workforce. So my purpose here on earth is to lift and support large communities of women entrepreneurs looking for the answers to leadership and how to become visible in their marketplace through media. And if they can do that, then they can speak their purpose and accomplish their missions worldwide. So you see why I want to do that. So if you want to be recognized as a leader in this new world, it's all about self-awareness, self-regulation, and self-motivation. So let's dive into this a little bit. Forbes determined that a high self-awareness score was the strongest predictor of overall success. Now, I don't think this is too surprising since executives usually understand where their weaknesses appear, and then they just hire people to take care of it and perform whatever categories they're not comfortable in. And these leaders are also better able to entertain the idea that someone on their team may have an idea that is even better than their own. I'm always looking for ideas from the Authors and Speakers Visibility Playground because I think they are they're very supportive in what they want to offer, and they know it's for the good of the group. We're all about lifting the whole group at the same time so that we all achieve and succeed. And I want to say finally that self-aware leaders have an understanding of how their words and feelings affect those around them. Now let's talk about self-regulation. That's all about having control of your emotions and actions, an awareness of your personal values and how accountable, my words are kind of weird today. I'm having a challenge. So anyway, it's an awareness of your values and how accountable you hold yourself when you make these golden mistakes. And these golden mistakes, what are those golden mistakes? Oh my gosh, we all make golden mistakes, especially in business, because we're constantly trying to figure out the right way to go. And we actually have to, what I call tacking back and forth like a sailboat so that we're right on par with where we're supposed to go instead of being miles off when we get to the other end. But we do make these golden mistakes. And the reason I call them golden mistakes is because they aren't really mistakes. They're just learning experience that might cost you a lot of money. And my golden mistakes have cost me a great deal of money. So our emotions are actually driven by biological impulses. Did you know that? And these impulses frequently get beyond our control. But what happens as a result of these emotions is not an impulse. So when our emotions ratchet out of control, it's impossible to ignore them, but we can take care to manage them carefully because emotional management is called self-regulation. And it's the emotional intelligence quality that allows us to avoid controlled emotional outbursts. Now, I've talked to you in the past about intelligence and the importance of utilizing that in your business and what it is as opposed to intellect. And for those of you who don't know, I just want to briefly tell you what that is. So intellect, let me get my phone out here. Intellect is, I know how to do this text, or I know how to work this phone, or I know how to do this videos on YouTube, or whatever it is. That's intellect. That's all intellect because it's things that we've learned. It could also be intellect is how we drive the car. We get in, we put it in gear, and we put our seatbelt on, and it's all automatic. That's not intelligence. That's intellect. Intelligence is when you are emotionally and in control. You're secure with your emotions. And if somebody triggers you, you can step back and say, oh, I think I'm going to think about that before I respond. You can see if someone's going to get really upset with you. You can tell if it's going to move into an uncontrollable fight, right? So we use our intelligence to step back, think about things, and how we're going to take the next steps before we leap into them. Now, understand, we're all only human. And as I said a little earlier, we do make mistakes. So when we're only human, we are going to react quickly. But it's how quickly you step back and go, ooh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have reacted that quickly. I need to think this over. That is what I call emotional intelligence. It's a self-regulation. So you could say it's like thoughtful consideration when you step back before reacting. It's the ability to accept change and then go with the flow of your inner guidance. Like when I moved here to Mexico, I had a huge community in San Diego and one in San Francisco. And when I found out I was going to Mexico, I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that. I have to leave my whole community. But what I had to do was accept the change and go with the flow of my inner guidance. And so, yes, I moved to Mexico. And it's beautiful. I actually live on the beach. I take a walk every morning at 6 a.m. It's wonderful. So sometimes the things that you think you don't want to do turn out to be phenomenal in the long run. And the third point I want to make about this is that we have to have integrity around the ability to say no to impulsive urges and follow through as we agreed before. And, I had a person take my class some years ago, and she took the whole class, the whole 6-month course, and then she decided she didn't want to pay for it. She said she couldn't afford to pay for it. So what do you think her integrity is? Right. She had an impulsive urge. She just decided she didn't want to pay for it. She told me I'm not paying for it. And I'm not the kind of person that sues people. So she got away with it. But she has no integrity. The same thing goes for when you're in the middle of a project and you just jump into a new one and you go, oh, I don't think this one's going to work. So I'm going to jump into this new one. And you already paid for that one and didn't try to make it work for you. It'll always work if you just give it the time and the patience. And that's what I mean by self-regulating your behavior. It's so important because know that people are watching to see what you do. They're always watching to see if you have the integrity and the credibility to be a leader. Now, the last one is the next one is self-motivation. And it seems to be one of the most difficult challenges entrepreneurs have. And it's really hard to manage as well, because a lack of motivation often sets into motion a never-ending stream of negative self-talk. It could be while you're sleeping, it can be while you're eating. Our mind is constantly racing, and we've got all this negative self-talk. Oh, you can't do this. You'll never get this done. I don't know why you're trying to teach this class because it's useless. You've never been able to sell it. Well, there's reasons for all those things, but you haven't looked into the reasons. And that negative self-talk can take you down faster than you can possibly imagine because it shows on your face and it comes out of your mouth. And that is not a leader. And that's what we're talking about today, is how to be an effective leader so that you could become massively visible and people will following you. will follow you. So doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done is the fastest way to replace negative, negative nagging in your mind. And you can turn it into something powerful and positive. So here are a few ideas to help you stay self-motivated and focused on your tasks. One is networking. I know that we're home a lot, but there are all kinds of networking groups that are popping up on the web. And yes, we don't get to rub elbows or fist bump or that kind of thing, but we can meet people. And it works out really beautifully because you don't have to pay for lunches. You don't have to pay for dinner. You don't have to drive there and have windshield time. It's just so much easier. So much easier. So do what you can to attend conferences or seminars or workshops online. It's okay. It recharges your batteries and gives you some really cool ideas. And also when you're there, you get a chance to show them that you're a leader. And if you show them that you're a leader, they're going to follow you right out of the networking group and want to know more about what it is that you do. Another thing about a leader is being accountable. When you stay self-motivated as a leader, you are always accountable to other people. So the best thing to do is to find someone that you can be accountable to. I have 3 people that I'm accountable to. So I have to get the work done. And a really good example is when I wrote my book, Selling Through Your Heart. In fact, a lot of this material I'm teaching you today is in Selling Through Your Heart. And of course, I can't teach it all to you. So get the book on Amazon, Selling Through Your Heart. You could see back here that it's won a lot of awards. It's won 4 awards, and it's been number 1 in 4 countries. So think about what you can learn from somebody else and then put it into practice and become accountable. That's the big thing. Become accountable. You need to report to someone. So I was going to tell you about writing my book. So I told my whole community in San Diego, I'm writing a book. I'm going to have this many words written by this time. And they checked on me. We actually had Zoom calls and they'd say, did you get it done? Did you not get it done? How much did you get done? How much more do you need to get done? And I was accountable to 8 different people. And so I had to show them as a leader that I would complete the project that I agreed to complete. And that's the importance of accountability partners. They're so awesome because then you just keep moving forward and accounting to them for the work that you've done. And I mentioned a little earlier about staying focused. While working your way through accomplishing your goals, keep them visible. Visibility makes it easier to stay motivated. It reminds you of why you chose to become an entrepreneur. And like doing this show, I have to be accountable to all of you and I'm visible to all of you. So that's really important. You have to stay focused or you can't get where you want to go. Now, let me tell you another really important thing about leadership. Exhibiting empathy. Empathy is so much more than sympathy. And sympathy is being able to understand and support others with compassion or feeling sensitive coming from your heart. Empathy is the ability to experience and relate to the thoughts, emotions, and experiences of others. Empathy is fundamental to leadership. It's one of the most important things that you can learn to do because empathetic leaders rarely speak. Did you know that? They concentrate on practicing focused listening skills, just like what we talked about earlier. And they're non-judgmental. Being empathetic means you are not judgmental. Even when sensing the other's feelings are in direct conflict to your own, you are not judgmental. Because leaders sincerely appreciate what the other person has experienced, experiencing and understand how those feelings are affecting that person's perception and decision-making process. Now, once you become a leader, this is what I really want to talk to you about. You can become so much bigger in your field of expertise or your industry. When you become a leader, then you step onto the set, just like I'm doing right now, and you share with others what you know. Now, it might be in your own show, it might be on somebody else's show, but when you learn to be professional and speak the information that you want to share, then people start looking for you and they start asking you to come on their show. I must be on 3 to 4 shows a week. I don't have to search them out. People come to me, and I do my very best to show up when they ask me to provide everything that they need when they ask me to, and to make them a star. It's not about me being a star. It's about them being a star. It's their show. I want them to look good on their show. And that's one of the important things that you need to learn to do as a leader. And you also need to learn how to speak in maybe 3-4 sound bites, which means if they ask you a question, you're not going to go on and on and on and on and take up their whole show. You're going to answer it in maybe 2 or 3 sentences and then let them ask another question, because there's a secret to this, and that is that the show host knows their audience. They are well aware of who their audience is, and so they will ask questions that their audience would be asking. That's why I say it's important to make them look like a star and give them the floor when they need it to ask you a question. Now let's go back to the basic reason for why you want to become massively visible. Well, I kind of told you, it's so that you can get clients all over the world. But if you don't deliver professionally and you don't make an impact on your audience, then it's useless. It's absolutely useless. But if you know how to speak the words and phrases that your clients are waiting to hear, you call them to you. You always get a little link at the bottom of the show that you did, that so that people know where to find you. And if you use the proper phrases and the words that your clients are looking for, they will use that link. And it doesn't just have to be something free. It could be anything that people are challenged with. Sometimes I talk about my transformational treatment because people have so many problems with sales. And if they get the treatment, suddenly they have no problems with sales. It's pretty cool to watch. But if they don't have a link at the bottom, they don't know where to find you. So you got to make sure that that link is always at the bottom and it goes to a connection of some kind to you. This is how you get clients worldwide. But there's a couple things I need to share with you. You must be professional. You must speak with confidence and compassion so that others feel comfortable in what you are saying. If you aren't confident and you aren't compassionate about how others might feel, and you're just trying to ram it down their throat, you won't get any response. So it's really important to learn how to sell in a way that builds relationships instead of just asking for the sale. Building relationships is extremely, extremely important. It's not about sales. And I always say there's 3 things with anybody that you meet. They could maybe open a door for you. They could become a client for you. Or they might be somebody that you could refer to someone else, which would make that someone happy, would make this client, their future client, happy, and it makes you happy because you'll probably get a referral fee. So even if it's not your client and they come to you, there's always a way to refer them for a referral fee. And that's one of the things that we do in the Authors and Speakers Visibility Playground. We refer, we have a mastermind, a business mastermind, and we meet for free once a week. And I just give you as much information as you want to know or what you need help with. And it's also a referral group. So we refer to each other. And so we're all out looking for a way to refer you to whoever it is that you're looking for to support you. And this is something we do on Thursdays in the Authors and Speakers Visibility Playground. Now, I hope that I've given you some really good information for how to become a massive visibility leader. And as I say, you want massive visibility for massive income, right? Because we can't just do it at home anymore. We can't sit here and do nothing because we won't make any money. We won't be in business much longer. So think about what I said as far as becoming a leader. And once you become a leader, then you become massively visible. You become the go-to guest expert in your industry. But the only way that you can do that is to become credible and believable. And you have to speak with good purpose. That's what's really important. So I hope you appreciate what I gave you today. And as I said, there's so much more in Selling Through Your Heart. And I know that you'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot about sales too in Selling Through Your Heart. And leadership is the number one thing if you want to elevate your income. Once you become a leader, you can charge $5,000 for your program just like that. Nothing to it, because people know they're going to get the value that they're paying for when you are a credible leader. And I don't only mean what you say. You have to dress credibly. You have to have a set that is credible. And I don't mean just one of those green screen pictures on Zoom, because a lot of people aren't even using the green screen and their arm disappears or their neck disappears. I had one person I was trying to interview once, and they had that stupid screen on, and their whole head disappeared and just their body was there. And it was like they were talking without a head. Usually tell most people they have a talking head when they're to hear, and there's no body, they got a talking head. But this person didn't even have a head because it leaned back laughing, and suddenly only the shoulders and the body were there. So learn to be professional, do whatever you can. And pretty soon I'm going to have a course for the massive visibility media, and it's going to be a TV show, which will be really, really fun. And you'll be able to participate in the TV show. I'm only going to take 10 people, and they're all going to learn how to speak a language that their clients understand. And they're going to put their set together and learn how to look professional and do their makeup properly. And they're going to make a difference in the world. I know it. So as I said, you can do this. You can become massively visible. All you have to do is be a credible leader. So thank you for joining me today. We're right in the middle of the 5-day challenge that turn your $10 book into $1,000 so that you can make $100K next year just in the ability to sell your book. And we're really having a lot of fun with this challenge. I only offer it once or twice a year, and it's really rocking and rolling. They're having a blast. And if you want to sign up for the challenge, you still can. Just go to the Authors and Speakers Visibility Playground and you'll find it there. And until next week, have a really fabulous, fabulous week. And don't forget to focus on becoming a leader that everyone wants to follow. See you later.